Put the fucking mic on.
We will start the episode out with an email, it looks like, Lurch, you put in there. So if you want to handle that.
It's a short one, but it leads into something else. So we have our store in Union Gap, Washington, and we try to keep it open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Sometimes we are closed because we're doing things like this, making podcasts and doing videos. But the other day, a gentleman, Mike Selberg of Yakima, Washington, came in, and he's got a new bike, and he's been thinking about what kind of suspension to put on it. He was leaning towards Legends until he saw your Wilbur's video and how much you raved about it, and especially after going through the Tail of the Dragon and being able to rip it through there, do some long touring on it. He was sold. So he came in and gave us the information. We got his suspension ordered up and shipped out to him, and he just sent a quick email and said, "Thank you for your professionalism and promptness. Your excellent customer service is refreshing and welcoming." And I just want to say that we've been selling the heck out of Wilbur's. We're their number one distributor in the U.S., so if you're thinking about suspension, now's the time. Purchase through the Law Abiding Biker Store. We'll hook you up. And now, a new item for the Softails. They now have a Nevomat system for the Softails. For the longest time, you couldn't get the Nevomat system, which is a system that automatically adjusts for added weight, such as passengers and luggage. You set it for yourself as a rider. It does the rest through mechanical and hydraulic functions, and it sets your suspension sag level back to where it should be. There wasn't room for that in the Softails. In 2018, they did a redesign, and Wilbur's is caught up, and now they have a solo, shock, a rear shock for the Softails that will do that Nevomat system. So that's now in the store as well.
Yeah, very cool, guys. We are selling the heck out of it. It sells itself. The more popular it gets, the faster we sell it, because not only us and promoting it, but the fact that it word of mouth. Guys get it, and there is nothing like you get it. When you get it, you feel it, you get it. You're like, oh, that's what Ryan was talking about in Lurch, and oh my God, and Oscar, us running it. Absolutely, by far, the best touring suspension, absolutely by far for that platform. It's amazing. Like butter, I've said it before. I've talked about it a lot, and I'm super stoked that it's coming to Softail models with the coilover monoshock set up there. So we will be testing that. We're going to have a bike hopefully soon that we will be able to do that on, and we will go from there. I will say this is a live event for Patron members, mid-level and above. One of the many benefits. I see Matt Haywood is in the chat, and I would like to say, as of very recent, within the last week, we picked Matt Haywood up, and he is now remotely, of course, because he's in California, but he is going to be one of the video editors here for Law Abiding Biker Media. I'll still be editing a lot of the stuff that I do, and then I'm going to pass a lot of stuff on to him. In fact, right now, he is editing a Harley audio stage 2 system install that we did some time ago on my 24 Street Glide, and it's been sitting on hard drives like mini videos that I'm going to pass to him. So I'm very excited about that, and he's just so far just doing a phenomenal job. And so it's always nice to bring in members of the community. And we look forward to other opportunities coming up in the future for as Lab continues to steadily, carefully grow and scale. So yeah, there you go. Matt Haywood, official. Some of the videos you'll see now will be edited by him. So I'm super excited about that. You want to ride longer? Are you tired of a sore and achy ass? Then fix it with a high quality butt buffer seat cushion. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and check out our full line of butt buffer seat cushions. Make 2025 the year that you say goodbye to your sore and achy ass. Yes, in the Law Abiding Biker store, we have Saddlemen seats. The best seats on the market. Run the road sofa. By far the best touring seat, in my opinion. And obviously they make seats for Softails and things like that. They're amazing looking, amazing feeling. But even with that, it doesn't matter because a seat's a seat. You throw that butt buffer on the top of that seat. I don't do it when I'm riding around town because it's short trips. But when I'm going to be riding day after day and laying down the miles, you better believe that butt buffer just takes that already premium seat to the next level because it's hospital grade material, guys. What they use for bed sores and things like that. They've integrated that. It won't leak. It won't puncture. It won't freeze like all that other junk on the market. Make this the year you try a butt buffer. Again, they sell themselves just like the Wilbur's guys are like, oh, I get it. The pressure points. I get it. You just move slightly. It really works well for relieving those pressure points, getting rid of vibrations, all that kind of stuff. It's like the icing on the cake of your seat. It's like a cake. It's already good. It's already delicious. It's already you're like, oh, and then you put frosting on it. You're like, fuck, now I know what you're talking about. That's the frosting on your seat.
You're ridiculous.
I am ridiculous.
Oh,
that's what I do. All right. Lurch, we're so busy, guys. I can't even explain to you.
It's nuts right now.
I've been busy in a lot of their jobs. This is the next level.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good problem to have as we brought on Matt Haywood and we're looking at other things. We're trying to stay afloat, so to speak, and get things done as we can. But here's just a couple of the massive amount of items we have added to the Law Abiding Biker store. Get over there often. We're always adding stuff constantly to the store, new products and things we're testing. With that said, if you see it online anywhere, we can get it for you likely. We're Drag Specialties reseller, Parts Unlimited, Turn 14, a plethora of others, all the big boys, anything the big boys can get you, conglomerates, we can get you. But remember, we can get it to you at a better price usually. And the reason is, remember, if you're not a Washington State resident, it's no taxes in our store. We're not required at this point. And number two, over $100 free shipping. And if you're a mid-level or above Patron member, remember you have that year-round 24/7, every product 10% code that you can use on every purchase. So that's a huge benefit of being a Patron member too. So there's opportunities in our store. But with that said, if you don't see it in the store, remember, you simply hit the contact form, say, hey, guys, I need a stage 1 intake for a 2018, Street Glide with a M8 or whatever. We can get it for you. We just don't have time to list all that stuff right now, guys. So we'll look it up. We'll get it. We'll get you the appropriate discounts that you deserve in which form that is, whether it's taxes or you're a Patron member. And you'll be good to go there, guys. But we can order it for you. And remember, we are not the big conglomerate online. We are just a bootstrap company of bikers trying to help as many bikers as we can worldwide. We do really, really, really appreciate every customer just as we appreciate every Patron member. We're there to take care of you. You will not get answers. In fact, a couple recent emails, Lurch answered. I go, you wouldn't get an answer like that from the big boys because the person answering you is just a customer service rep. It's not an actual biker that's used the stuff and lives, eats, breathes. The conglomerates do have motorcycle riders too, but a lot of their customer service is not. So they would never be able to answer some of the emails and questions that we're able to answer because we've done it. We've lived it. We've had that problem before. We've fixed that problem. We know a solution. We know the pain points. So again, thank you. Going into 25, please consider if you're going to buy something online, just say, hey, I could hit up the, lab crew and they can probably get it ordered for me and I can get my discounts and the faces behind who you're actually purchasing from. So thank you for that continued support. With that said, I lay it over to Lurch to announce a new products, I guess, that are in the store. I do know that are in the store.
Yeah, I hope so. You got them and then told me to add them to the store. So Alpine Stars MX gloves. They're a thin riding glove. They're great because you can operate your devices and whatnot, and they're not big, bulky gloves. They're the ones you've seen Ryan wearing in the recent videos. We've got them in all kinds of sizes and colors. Great glove at a great price. And then also the Alpine Stars version 2 rain gear. We had the regular rain gear in there, the first version, but now the second version is in there. Limited supply on version 1. Version 2, lots of supply. So never a better time than to get some rain gear here in the spring before you go out riding.
Yeah, it's fabulous rain gear, guys. That's why I sourced it. Alpine Stars, The name says it all. You don't need to say anymore. There's a reason Racers and King of the Baggers and everybody's uses Alpine Stars, because it's freaking been around forever and it's freaking amazing, and it's right there, as good, if not better, some of it, than Climb Gear, which are two top brands. I source as much Alpine Stars as I can, and I'm using the heck out of it. It's really good, affordable rain gear. And again, I'll be doing a review of it on the YouTube channel soon. So look forward to that. And I love my gloves. If you see the recent Harley review video I did and the Indian review video I did, I'm wearing those exact gloves. There's different colors, but I'm wearing the blue and white. And they're really good moto type gloves. They're the right thickness. They're not too thin, not too thick. Breathe well, look great. All the protection in the right places. I'm not one to wear big, bulky leather gloves, or the frickin' gloves with the huge plastic knuckles that you're like, I've been down multiple times and I've never slid on my knuckles.
In theory, it sounds like a good idea. It does. Right?
It's great to punch people.
Oh yeah. I had some.
Yeah. Everybody had those at first, and I get it. But yeah, you rarely just put your knuckles down and you're just sliding along the pavement like this on your knuckles, dude. Just your hands out. Anyways, these have some knuckle protection. I agree. You need some. You can go down there, but that's the padding, but not necessarily. Once you slide, you're going to be on your palms and things like that. Anyways, Haywood says in there, he says, I'm questioning my new career choice. He's referring to being a video editor for Lab. My boss, referring to me, says I need to be in front of the computer 20 hours per day with a commode, as I don't even get shit breaks. And I responded, I said, and it's required to drink whiskey while you're working. It's company policy.
That is the best policy of law-abiding biker.
Drink on duty.
You can drink on duty if you want.
There's beer at the store for you guys.
Yeah, there is, but I rarely, I don't drink any during the day because I don't want somebody coming in to talk about bike parts and I got beer on my breath.
Why?
And it's just not the most motivating thing in the world. You
That's
have
the
beer,
real reason.
Yeah, you have a beer at lunch and just downhill. So
I don't either. Yeah.
When we're there late or after hours, then I'll enjoy one. Absolutely.
Heck yeah. But at home, if you're working, sometimes Lurch works from home remotely. So do I in the evening. It's all right. It's fine. It's company policy.
And I've never
we don't force you to drink. We don't force you. Right. We're never. Yeah.
Look at some of those show notes. You're like, what
That's
were
true.
you writing?
That's true.
Can you spell?
That's not even the show we're doing, Lurch. Yeah. Oh, but never force people to drink, but it is a company policy that you may drink on duty if you so choose, as long as you get your work done and you're safe about it. That's all I really care about. What company does that for you? Yeah, try that one. I wanted to be completely different than every company or position I've ever worked for. I wanted completely backwards, ass backwards, whatever, backwards, however you say that, policies, guys. So that's what we're implementing here at Law Abiding Biker Media. Hey, Bikeaholics, 03D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson and a brand new line for the all-new Honda Goldwing named Gold Stripe.
I like gold.
Top quality, affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. They are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. And of course, a little bit later in this episode, we're going to tell you about some of the new Zero 3D products that are actually listed in the store. Not in stock yet, but they're for 24s. And they're coming shortly. We'll be doing videos on them. They will be coming in stock, but we'll tell you more about that as we get into this episode. Oh yeah, we are here live video broadcast and chat for beloved mid-level and above Patron members. It's one of the many benefits, and I want to welcome you back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for Motorcycle Majority. The Big MM, also known as the
99%.
Large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history. By being here, by listening, you're part of what we call the hashtag
Biker Revolution.
That's right. Lurch has just one question before we get started. What are you waiting for, Bikeaholics? Mount up.
And let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
There you go. Ryan Urlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker podcast. And of course, your
high-tech redneck.
There you go, guys. So we have a really fun episode, and we're actually, as usual, when we do a live video broadcast and chat with our patron members, we like to chat with you. You guys also get your own conversations going. We will try to monitor that. We're curious on your guys' feedback and or experiences or things you want to share with the community. It's one of the benefits. Now, so we're going to be talking about 2025 Harley-Davidson Cruiser lineup. It's a ride and review. And that is going to be the main episode. We'll get more into it. I went down to Austin, Texas. I had 2 days. I was there for the event. 6 bikes to review in 2 days. Cruiser models. I've got a lot to talk about. We did a video on it. It's on the YouTube channel. I suggest everybody go watch that. Even if you're getting this podcast weeks later as a regular non-patron member listener, it will come out in regular format at some point. But there's a lot of visuals and a lot of things that we're going to talk about. But as usual in long form content like a podcast, which is nice, I have the ability to sometimes reveal a lot more. You can't make a 3-hour review video on YouTube. It just doesn't work. You have to try to keep them reviews. You can get away with a little longer, but people have a very short attention span. People come to a podcast, they expect that it's going to be long form and they're in for the long haul. So because of that, I can reveal a little bit more. So it's not going to be a spitting image of the video. We're going to talk about some of the same stuff, but also go in a little deeper. And I am curious to see if you guys have ridden any of these bikes and things like that, and or what you think about as we discuss what's going on with these bikes, kind of your opinions and things like that. So with that said, that new video's out, but Lurch also wants we have been putting out more videos than we have this year and since 2014. We're just ramping things up. So here's one of the many videos that's out on the YouTube channel. You should get over there and get subscribed, please. It's free. It helps us, guys. If you haven't, it takes 2 seconds. It's free. It really does help us online as far as algorithms and search and things like that. So please hit that subscribe button.
So this new free video are these the best Harley accessories yet? Serial Chicane Collection, excuse me. And you can get the link in the show notes, or it's lawabidingbiker.com/serial-chicane. I will say that I have that collection on my 2015 Road Glide, and this guy's about to get a 24 or 25 Road Glide, and that is moving on over to the new bike. Love it.
Yeah.
Good looking stuff.
Very much so. Very much so. All right. Now, of course, this is a live patron member only event, but we also have new patrons joining all the time, and we want to thank some of these newest. Oh, we do. Do we have any?
Yeah, we do.
Okay,
they're
go
down
ahead.
at the bottom there.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
We'd like to thank Dave Miller of Canton, Ohio, Gary Gross of Waverland, Mississippi's top tier, and Nori Masson of unknown location, also top tier.
Very simple these days to become a patron member. You simply head over and you sign up for a monthly subscription, and you choose the benefits that you want to receive. And it's just once a month now, guys. There are a plethora of benefits that you receive depending on what level you sign up at, but there's t-shirts and stickers, access to the private Facebook group, a troll-free zone, nothing but bikers helping and connecting with other bikers in there. Ride events, it really is a 14-year forum now. You can search for content in there, like something with your tires or bearings or anything, and you're going to come up with every post and every video that was ever mentioned or talked about with the threads in there. So don't forget, that's a huge benefit in there. There's experts in there, know a lot more than me, that are helping fellow bikers out. That's amazing. You get access to live video broadcasts and chat just like this. You get access to podcasts early, well before everybody else gets them in regular podcast format, and premium videos upon request, access to the ride meetup and events, and as I already mentioned, that patron discount code for the Law Abiding Biker store year-round. So some huge benefits there, guys, and we do love to be able to give those benefits to you guys as a way to say thank you for supporting our mission and understanding what we're trying to do here. And lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon is how you can get signed up and go see what level and what benefits and all that kind of stuff that you choose. Now, one of the huge benefits to piggyback off that is coming up very short order. A couple things. Number one, the Canada 2025 patron member meetup ride event is happening, sanctioned. We will be there with the crew. It's going to be spectacular, likely the most spectacular event you've ever been to. If you've never been to a lab event, it just is. And it's more spectacular probably than any other spectacular event online. And it's not, it's offline, because we finally get to meet a lot of you in person. We've met you before. And, but there'll be new members too. It is in Canada. It is on July 21st, 2025 in the Greater Banff, Canada area. So you need to head over ASAP to lawabidingbiker.com/2025 meetup. That's lawabidingbiker.com/2025 meetup. No dashes, no spaces. It'll also be in the show notes for this podcast episode. You must be a patron member. These are the eligibility requirements. You must be a patron member before April 1st, 2025. Before the event, we need to know that you're committed as a patron member. You can kind of get to feel the community and understand what we're all about before you go to one of those events. So get signed up now. It's already March at the time of this. The cutoff for sign up, so patron member before April 1st, the cutoff for everybody is April 15th, 2025. We absolutely cannot take anybody after that. There'll be no exceptions made. These are large-scale events. We want to make them very great. In order to make them very great, we have to have a cutoff because there are logistics and money and all kinds of planning involved. So you can't come to us after. We just can't violate that rule, guys. It is what it is. So sign up if you're going, and we can get you vetted, get you the emails and all that kind of stuff. With that said, I ask you, if you're not sure, please don't sign up. Understand there's logistics, money involved in this, catering. We can't have a bunch of people like sign up and then just decide not to go. It's really, really hard. And I know we've never had a problem with that in the past. People respect that. You're patron members, and you understand that. So please only sign up if you plan on going. Of course, if a family emergency comes up or something, we understand those things. Life happens, but not just, hey, I might go and I'll just sign up just in case. That we're going to have a bunch of extra food and money, and we might have to rent a bigger place if too many, so we got to know. All right. So
I'd just like to give a little shout out to patron member Larry Johnson. Also, he's the one helping us with the ride and the meetup location. He's got 4 nice rides for me to look at. Maybe the two of you, maybe you and I'll sit down and look at the rides and kind of give him some feedback. And then he's in the process of helping us with a place to meet up in Canmore after the ride. So working on it. It should be a fun ride. It's such a beautiful country up there.
It will be. And it's been since 2017 since we've been to Canada. So that's huge. So if you can make it, please, we would love to see you there. We'd love to, meet you in person, shake your head. Thank you. We always thank you virtually like this, but in person is really important for me. Love shaking your hands. And,
patron member Scott Buggett in the chat says, as the 51st state, will Canada still require a passport?
There we go.
It's starting.
Here we go. I love it. Do we got any Canadians in there? They're going to start. Yeah.
No, nothing yet.
Nothing yet. Okay. Yeah.
No, you will still need your passport to get into Canada.
Apparently, you still need the passport to get into Canada. All right. So that's the ride meetup and event, and looking forward to that, guys. So let's dive into our main topic. So the way this happened is we actually are recording 3 podcasts today. This one's live. The one we just recorded is when I went down to Las Vegas, Nevada. I was down there for multiple days for the Indian Press event to reveal their new Power Plus 112 lineup. So that episode's coming out. There's already a video on YouTube. It did really well. If you want to see those bikes, I always say just have an open mind. I've said it before. We're not centric to one bike here. I love all motorcycles. I look out in the studio or the shop, Law Abiding Biker Shop. I see a Harley Street Glide. I see a Husqvarna 2-stroke T300. I see a Kawasaki KLR. If I had more money, I'd throw an Indian in there. If Goldwing and Honda invited me to test a Goldwing, I'll go test that. If BMW invites me, I love all bikes. I want to get them all on the channel. It's what I have opportunities to do. With that said, don't have a closed mind. There are very Harley-centric people and very Indian-centric people that, that just whatever. I would just say, it doesn't mean you have to go buy one if you don't want, but it's always good to see what's out there, to see, am I still making the best investment? That's what this channel tries to do. We don't try to steer you towards one. We do a lot of Harley content because that's what I have access to, guys. Again, I can't just buy a BMW and a Goldwing and a Indian and maybe someday that would be a really nice position to be in. So I use these events, of course, and take advantage of getting my hands on these bikes and reviewing them for you. So
we might get our hands on another Indian.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
We don't know which one yet, but I got to figure out which one. Indian wants to send me another bike after the event. We just got the email. I need to answer her and figure out what bike we want, because we had the Pursuit for over a year. And you bring up a good point is, these videos, guys, I have a very limited time with these bikes. but I have to take full advantage of it. And I'm super thankful to the companies for hooking me up and getting me access to these bikes so I can bring it to you guys. With that said, it's a whirlwind. Your head's spinning. I don't get another film guy or crew guy. They mostly want you to come by yourself because they don't want to pay for another guy. Again, I'm very thankful just to get there, but I get limited time. So I do the best job I can with the very whirlwind of activity that surrounds these press events. And there is a lot of downtime, but there is a lot of at least a decent amount of riding. But with that said, it's so overview. And so when I do get the bikes, what I was going to say with that longer term, I'm very appreciative of that too, because then I can do it my way and I can have time and I can really soak it in. I can take it on a trip, maybe even a shorter 2-day trip like we did to Spokane with the Pursuit. Just get out to really have more time, to really settle in, to get 500 miles on it and go, okay, the floorboards are a little wrong for me. Like my knees not feel, that's just an example. Or any other things that come up that you can't do in a day review, or even a 2-day review. 6 bikes in 2 days for Harley, which we're talking about here. That's a lot. And I did the best I could. And I know the comments are overwhelmingly appreciative that I did the best review because I actually explained the bikes and kind of give you why you would buy this one over this one. And I really tried to, so I appreciate all the feedback on YouTube for that. I really try to do it different than all other channels. I don't just run down and tell you about my trip. I focus on the bikes and try to bring that information back to you, not what I'm eating.
You don't show your hotel room.
I don't show my hotel. Right.
All the cool stuff that
exactly
Harley's doing for you.
Look what I'm doing. Yeah. And that's fine. There's enough room for all channels. I'm not dogging any channels. It's if you want to go for an entertainment channel, then go. If you want to learn about bikes, come to me. That's really what I focus on. That's why we are so popular, obviously, on YouTube over a lot of the other channels. And we appreciate that, but I work hard. Lurch knows I'm like memorizing stuff like Rain Man, going over my notes. What do I want to cover? What specs do I need? What already do I have in my mind? And then when I get there, every stop I'm on Evernote trying to figure out, did I cover this? Did I cover that? Oh crap, I didn't cover that. I don't like that. And then I'm trying to make notes on what I do and don't like, because I got to edit all this and put it into some sort of consumable piece of content for you guys. So it's a lot and it's very stressful and they're fun events and I'm so blessed to go to them, but there's anxiety involved and stress, and because I care about doing a really good job. It's probably my fault. I probably put I told Lurch, I think I look around sometimes and I'm like, why am I working so hard when I see everybody else visiting? I'm like, And again, that's not a put down on any other. Each channel has to do it their own way, but I'm always like, it's the way I take it seriously, I guess. And I probably cause a lot of that on myself, but
definitely, but
I'm happy with my product.
Yeah. I was going to say, definitely you do. But I would say I'm glad, and I would assume the audience is glad that you do as well, because that, effort that you put into it shows in the final product.
Well, thank you.
It's a video that's useful,
right,
to a consumer that may be considering one of these bikes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you.
And you sprinkle in the entertainment too. It's infotainment, as you like to say.
Yeah. I put, different shots and try to do beauty shots too. And I do entertainment too, but I reserve a lot of that for my documentary films. That's people are going into those knowing this is for entertainment. It's a documentary. These, maybe they want to know a little bit more about the bikes, but I do sprinkle in some fun stuff too. So, anyways, with that said, that's where you get a little bit more behind the scenes here on what goes on. And, you'll always get an honest review on this channel. You guys know that, your Patron members, but this also, remember, I'm not saying a lot of this to you. I'm saying it for future release of this podcast to the public. You'll get a fair review here. I've said it in the past. I'm just going to breeze over it a little bit. These events cost me money. Okay. Yes, I'm so blessed, because it helps with expenses to fly down there and they give me meals and stuff. They give me access to the bikes. That's wonderful. We've done an actual episode on this in the past. So if you doubt me, go listen to that episode. You'll go, oh, okay. It costs me time. It costs me money. These videos, YouTube AdSense is a joke. We get paid pennies. That's not how this business makes its money. We make our money, everything surrounding it, through sponsorships in the store and Patron membership and all that. So yeah, I get a few pennies in AdSense for the views, but, it's taking me away from what we actually do here to make money. But with that said, it's super important because that's why I do it. I don't do it because these projects make me money. I do it because this is what I want to get to the audience. Having access to these bikes. Remember back in the day, guys, they weren't doing any of this. I spent 10 years before they ever invited me to an event. I went down to dealerships and tried to get bikes and tried to test ride them and review them. So I'm so blessed that I get full access and access to engineers and people I can ask questions and really get my hands on these bikes. But with that said, that's why you get an honest review. I'm not getting paid for any of this. They never tell us what we can or can't say. They just wouldn't do that. These companies know better. And that would be the best way to lose an audience. It can be done tastefully. I do always give things I think can be done better. And I would say, if you're watching a channel that never, ever says anything that can be improved, at least improved, I would just ask you to question. And it happens over and over in every bike review. It's just gawking and look how cool and nothing, not one thing. Even if you said something like the paint could be better. I mean, they never say anything. I would question the validity of those reviews. I will leave you with that. And a lot of that goes on. And it's unfortunate because I have said bad things tastefully, constructive feedback to the companies, and they still invite me. So that tells you where their values are and where they sit, that they're not going. Now, if I went out and just, said some really something like off color or very, not about their product, but maybe just very, I don't know.
Just
like
inappropriate,
like talking about sex and, or so, on a actual review event video, that's different, but they don't mind constructive feedback, especially the engineers. I talk to these Indian reps. I talk to the Harley reps. They actually ask us for feedback on certain things. They really want to know. They trust our opinions at this point. So I know that they want to make the best products possible. And we may not always agree. They're like, yeah, but we can't do that because of this. And that also dials me back a little bit like, well, I didn't think of that because I'm not a manufacturer. I get why that decision was made. So I can sort through that stuff and then, of course, bring it to you. Backing up, Las Vegas, did that. Got done, decided to fly to Austin, Texas. I already had it set up because the Hardy event a week later. So Indian did it in Vegas and then a week later. And so I was like, I'm not going to fly all the way back home, turn around, fly all the way back down to Austin. I'm blessed. I had some time. And I said, I'm going to fly straight to Austin and I'm going to spend 4 or 5 days ahead of the event. Number one, I had to edit the Indian video and get it out ASAP. So it wasn't all pleasure. I worked hard. I had that video out first out of everybody, every press outlet that was there. My video was out first. I worked very, very hard late into the night and the next day in Austin and on the plane to get that done and out. So I thought, well, I'll fly Lurch down, get him out of this cold weather up here at the time.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. I was like, and we try to give benefits to employees, and that's, and I'm like, I always try, these guys work hard and I appreciate them so much working. And so I'm like, I'll fly Lurch down. We'll work some, which we did. We can work a lot of this business remotely. And so we worked a lot, but we also had a lot of pleasure. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to get into the actual bike review because this is fun. This is the podcast why you get a lot more information rather than just, bam, the bike review, kind of what goes into things and behind the scenes. But Lurch rented us an Airbnb really close to pretty much downtown Austin, Texas. Now, if you're listening and you're from Austin, please don't get mad at me. All right. Don't get mad at me. Because I live outside of Yakima, Washington, and I don't speak highly of Yakima, Washington. There's lots of nice areas. I live outside of that. And so it's good and it's bad, but we're going to break it down. I'm just going to tell you, I think it should be named Austin, California. And I'm sorry. I speak not highly of the town. I live outside of the town where I live nearby. Let me say this. Texas is awesome.
As a whole.
Yeah. If I blindfolded you and put you in the middle of Austin, Texas, and took your blindfold off and said, where were you? You would not ever pick that you were in Texas. And not to stereotype, but I think everybody that lives in Texas would tell you that is not like one of those people that like, I live in Seattle and it's the best city in the, no, it's not. It's horribly crime ridden and there's homeless everywhere. Austin doesn't seem like you're in Texas. It's just another big city.
Well, they say keep Austin weird. So that kind of tells you a little bit about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. And so we all know that a lot of Californians moved there because they ruined their state and then they moved over there. And a lot of people fleeing California politics fled there. Matt Haywood hasn't fled there yet, but we'll see. No, he's not going to. And we love our California people. It has nothing to do. It's just that state. Even our patron members will tell you that, a lot of people have jobs, families. You got to stay where you are. I get it. Washington's very liberal too. Don't get me wrong. We live on the east side, which is not liberal, but unfortunately we have to listen to a lot of liberal stuff because they kind of control the state. So with that said, Austin,
Jason Chapman, patron Jason Chapman, lives down in that area, and he says, nothing to be sorry about. It's the truth.
Okay.
That's why I live in Kyle.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. It just is. It's just another big city. It doesn't really have a lot. It's not like steeped in a lot of history. There's not a lot to do. There's malls and restaurants like every big city. Some cities bank on, back in we have this and we were built on it's Austin. Just turned into a big city. And it's pretty dirty. There is a huge homeless problem. Mm-hmm. They have got to get, that's why a lot of people that live in Texas call it Austin, California.
It's like Seattle.
It is.
Same thing.
It is. It's turned to all what a lot of our big cities in this country have turned to. It's just, you're just like, okay. And, I will say it doesn't really give you the true feeling of Texas. I've been other places in Texas. Amarillo was really cool. Some different places like that. So it's not the only place I've been in Texas. So I did have something to compare it to. And Lurch has been at other places in Texas.
I've been north, I've been south. Once you get up towards Waco or south towards San Antonio, or even just get out of Austin 20 minutes and you're up in hill country where we went to Salt Lake Barbecue, then you feel like you're in Texas.
Right.
But right there in downtown, it does not feel like the great state of Texas.
I would not want to live there. But we had some fun while we were there, so we'll get into that. But there you go. There's Austin. So if you haven't been, I would say go elsewhere in Texas. This is, and again, not to stereotype, in my town, there's thousands of times more cowboy boots and cowboy hats. Nobody wears that in Austin. I'm not kidding. The entire time we were in Austin, which was 5 days, one guy with a cowboy hat, and he was a performer because he was on a horse downtown. Okay. I swear to God, like there is zero country. People aren't even wearing any clothes. And I'm not, again, stereotyping all of Texas.
No, but that's what you would expect.
But right? I have been outside that area and people do wear a lot more cowboy hats. And we have more here in Yakima, Washington than Austin, Texas has. We have more horses and more we have cattle farms. We are a cowboy area, so that might have some of it, but we have farms and cattle farms and all kinds of stuff and lots of horses. And very not Texas. With that said, I don't want to beat up on Austin, but it is what it is. We had a fun stay. You want to talk about a little bit, some of the things?
Going back just a little bit, you talked about getting me out of this cold weather and getting me down to something warm, but unfortunately, they had some unseasonable cold weather, although you would...
Yeah, true. I forgot.
You would learn that it gets a little colder down there these days. It seems like the Gulf Streams have kind of shifted a little bit, and they get a little more cold weather than they used to. I think it's last...
Like February, they said they always get a week or so where they get down in the digits, double digits, so to speak, or below freezing, I should say. Yeah.
And unfortunately, we came in on Thursday, Friday, it was 34 degrees was the high, which is about what it was up here. So not much of a break, but then Saturday it warmed up in the 60s and then we were in the 70s after that. So I finally got some sunshine on my pasty white skin, got a little bit of color. It felt good, but found a place to stay just on the edge of town. You rented a Turo. Turo is a company that you can rent cars from through private people.
No affiliation.
Never used it, but it worked out really well. So we were able to rip around in a little Jeep Wrangler. That was fun. I hardly fit in the thing. The passenger side wasn't too bad, but when I drove it, I felt like I was driving a clown car. Great, but you can rip around town, park wherever you wanted to. It was a good time. And we started out with one of the first things we did that was a hoot, was we went to the Comedy Mothership. It's a comedy club. It's owned by Joe Rogan. He's got a podcast. He used to be in California, fled California, went to Austin, started this comedy store, and comedians are starting to flock there now. They're moving to Austin. They're coming to do their stand-up there. There was a main comedian there, Jimmy Dore, which I had never really heard of. So we had the option of maybe seeing him in what they called the Big Boy's room. Big Boy room. It's the larger one. And then there's the Little Boy, which is the smaller room. And that was a comedy showcase. And you knew you're going to see several. You don't know what you're going to get. You have no idea. Yep. It's just whoever's in town. They go up, they do 10, 15 minutes. They're working on their acts. A couple of guys are really, working on some stuff. Sometimes it's Chappelle. Sometimes it's a nobody. Yeah. And it was really good. So I'm trying to, Tony Hinchcliffe ended up coming up. We got Tony Hinchcliffe. Tony Hinchcliffe, if you don't know him, he's got a YouTube. Really where he started from was YouTube, and he's got a show called Kill Tony. And he does live comedy. He brings up a bunch of comedians. They get like a minute, and then they kind of banter back and forth. It's quite funny. It's what humor used to be and should be. It's a little bit off color at times, right? But that's what makes it funny. And we were lucky he came up, and he was the second act, and he just happened to be in town, I'm sure, and said, "Hey, do you guys mind if I go up?" Yep. And he came up. He's practicing new material. Yeah, he had a bit about Canada. Dude, if you guys get to hear his bit on Canada, and Canadians, and we love our Canadians. That it's comedy, guys. Yeah. You can make fun of the U.S. I don't care. It's just we've funny. All got our things. But he does a Canadian bit that is so fucking funny. And I don't think he's put that public yet. I hadn't heard it. He was working on it, but it didn't seem like he was working on it because he's just very polished. Yeah. And some stupid guy in the audience was dumb enough to say, you know what, a comedian, I'll just tell you guys this. Here's my public service announcement. And I know this going in. When you're in a comedy club and the comedian looks out at the audience and says, "Are you from Canada?" Or even, "Are you from Washington State?" Anybody here from Washington State? Let's just use that. Any here from Canada? You are fucking not. Do not say it. Shut your fucking mouth and do not raise your hand. Because you're about to get picked on. But there's always those stupid fucking people in comedy clubs. And they're like, hell yeah, I'm from there. It's just because the rest of the time, that Canadian guy, I thought he was going to cry and leave. Because Tony beat the fuck out of him, dude. And here's what I learned. He'll probably never do that again. Never raise your hand at a comedy club. We were sitting. They seat you. You don't get to pick where you seat. Me and Lurch were first in line, and we got right at the stage. Like it's the bar that surrounds the stage, and we're sitting there. Luckily, I was over in the. We're on the side. I was on the side of it. We weren't dead. And I was on the very side. I was hiding. I was like hiding up against the wall, and they would look around like trying not to get picked on. Yeah, dude. There's only one comedian that got to us. Just asked us a couple questions. No big deal. He wasn't hacking us. He was just out that we had to answer because he's looking right at you. Yeah. He had a bit that involved audience participation, picking a number. He had jokes written down. Picking a number. I had to pick a number. He had like 20 jokes written down, and that's kind of how he was doing it. I got out easy picking a number. And I also learned that a theme can develop, whether it's a word that all the comedians are using or just something like the first guy comes up and picks on Canadians and the rest of them do it. So do not admit where you're from or what you do or anything. Just try to blend into the crowd and don't get picked on. But that was a hoot. I'm glad that we did that. And a couple other things that were big for me is one of the last times I was in the Austin area, there's a barbecue called Salt Lick Barbecue. And it's out west of town a ways. And when my wife and I were down there, we were staying in San Antonio. She wanted to go up to Waco to visit Chip and Joanna Gaines' place up there. It's something on HGTV. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I didn't get to. Oh, Louis, just crap. Oh my God. What's new? Woo. Louis, the studio dog. Didn't get to go there. So you and I went and had barbecue at the Salt Lick. It was delicious. We were pretty lucky because the weather was still kind of crappy that day. So I think a lot of people were staying in, but we got to experience Texas brisket and it was good and well priced too. Yes. But I will say all of the Salt Lick is really good. Mm-hmm. A lot of the people that live down there will tell you not to go elsewhere. It is very touristy, but it's huge. Yeah. I liked it a lot. Mm-hmm. But as I was down there, I was throwing some Instagrams out, and some of the locals down there were like, you got to try this. And also Terry Black's. Yeah. Terry Black's. And so we're like, okay.
We appreciate that feedback. And so we did. And I got to, with Harley, try yet another place that I think was by far the best.
Country Line Barbecue?
It was not. Oh. I told you that, and I was wrong.
Oh, gotcha.
And let me see. Styles Switch Barbecue.
Oh, okay.
So Harley took us to a place. We actually got on a bus. It was a party bus after day one ride. It had a live band in the bus. It had lights all over. It was a hoot. I post a lot of that. Yeah, party bus. I post a lot of that on Instagram. So if you guys aren't following on Instagram, a lot of that stuff that I won't put anywhere else, I'll put it over on our Instagram at Law Abiding Biker. We do a lot of fun stuff over there. But they ended up going and dropping us at this place. And Styles Switch Barbecue, by far, out of Terry Black's, out of Salt Lick, unbelievable. Huge operation. They have like 16 barbecues outside. It makes Terry Black's look small. It makes Salt Lick look small. I think they cater a lot. We got a tour with the cooks back there. They work 24 hours a day. Man, they cook so much meat. He was telling us in pounds. And they have a huge operation. These guys work 24 hours a day. They're back all these different barbecues. It was insanity. I was like, holy shit. They have a restaurant, a catering side, a catering room. By far, it was good. But Terry Black's was great.
It was very good.
Fucking expensive.
They were spendy.
For what it was, Salt Lick was way better prices.
In all fairness,
we were downtown.
You're downtown, but you also kind of get rushed through there. You get in line. They got beer, which is a good idea. They got beers up front, so you can grab some beers. You go through and get your sides, and then you get up to the table where they're slicing the meat, and it's kind of chaotic in there. There's a long line going out of the building. They're just getting asses in the seats. And I think we may have overpurchased a little bit because I was in a meat coma. So I think we could have definitely scaled back the amount of meat we had at the other place at the Salt Lick. We bought plates that were already pre-portioned, and so we had cost less, and we had a reasonable amount of barbecue. We
still did kind of the math on it. It still would have been $50 more at Terry Black's, even if we would have got kind of the same portions. We tried to evaluate that, but it was good. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't not eat at either of them. Salt Lick was great too, but that third one, me personally, I was like and I couldn't believe their operation, like I said. So, yeah.
I like to barbecue, and getting down there to Texas and trying some good old Texas briskets got me motivated to work on my brisket game.
Yeah. And a lot of people may be asking, well, you were in Austin, you're there for a motorcycle event. Why didn't you get Harleys, or rent bikes? Well, I will tell you this. I already said these trips cost us a lot of money. As a company, we have to look at financially what's beneficial and what's not. Number one, I'm glad we didn't get bikes because the first 2 days were freaking, and we wouldn't have had our hated gear. I've already packed on my luggage. I can't fit anymore. It was like in the low 20s, and at night it was like 14. It would have just been a miserable experience. It finally warmed up the last 2 days we were there, but so that worked out well. But through Harley, I could have got a big discount on the bikes through Eagle Riders. Mm-hmm. But even with that, it still would have been for those days like $1,500 for two bikes. And so it just didn't. And again, because of the weather, I'm glad we didn't. But that's why we didn't. We just grabbed a Jeep. Plus, we had to take Lurch to the airport, and I needed a Jeep to haul luggage. There's just a lot of logistics. The reason we couldn't ride bikes or didn't want to invest another $1,500 into this trip. We were already had quite a bit invested with the VRBOs and meals and all that kind of stuff. So, with that said, other than that, we pretty much just ate our way through Austin, and it is what it is. And I'm glad I got to visit it. But that's my little Austin stories.
And I flew home, and you moved on to the event.
I did. I moved on to the Harley-Davidson event, which was up at, remind me.
Oh, it's the Omni Hotel, the Omni Resort.
Omni Barton.
Barton Springs.
Omni Barton. Yeah, it's a huge golf course up there, and it's a really cool place. It's north, in my mind, north and west
yep.
Of Austin, the Austin area. Up near it is right in Hill Country. Mm-hmm. So Hill Country is just a great area to ride. And so, of course, they had the event up there. That's where we based out of. All the bikes were up there. Of course, a lot of the other media was there, both traditional, as usual, media and articles, people that write articles, and then all us video guys, the different YouTube channels and things like that. So it's always a fun event to network with fellow creators and things like that. And just kind of hang out aside from reviewing the bikes. Of course, Harley does things right, and they're very organized. Night one, we were told going into it that there was going to be an unveil and an announcement. And so we were excited about that. So I dropped you, airport. I went up. By the time I turned in the Jeep, the Turo and all that, I got there a couple hours before the dinner event start and the unveil. And at this point, I was already getting sick. I still have some residual because I had been going at the Indian event. And then Austin, I got sick in Austin. I was sneezing, nose running, all that kind of stuff. And I was getting sicker by the day. But you don't get to call in sick when you're doing stuff like this because you don't have another chance. So whether you're sick or not, you're going to be trying to review these bikes. But anyways, we had a little, intro. They've always got a room set up with the bikes and all that. And really aesthetically, they do a really good job with that. And kind of met up with everybody, said hi, and then it was time for the unveil. And if you haven't seen yet, I put Instagram, YouTube, I did a walk around of the bike, an actual informational video. I didn't just gawk at it. I actually give you facts on it. But that's all on YouTube and some shorts on Instagram and things like that. But they unveiled in front of us, which they did a really good job at keeping secret. They're getting much better at that ever since the new Road Glide fairing leak. One of the employees, and I talked to them about that again. And I won't reveal those conversations that I have with internal Harley stuff, but that was
they've tightened up the
not
ship.
a good deal, and shit hit the fan. Yeah. And so they unveiled the new 2025 CVO Road Glide RR. That's race replica, and it's basically a spitting image for the most part of the King of the Baggers bikes, and they're only making 131 of them. And it is a CVO, and it has handcrafted parts on it in billet, and it has more lean angle, and it has the most powerful production motor, street legal, that Harley has ever done in its 122-year history. And it looks amazing, and it was unbelievable to see that. We're going to do another episode on that, along with some hog membership. It's going to be a dual episode, so we're not going to get a lot into this bike, but with that said, it is a collector's bike. It is very capable of being ridden, although most people that get it will not ride it anywhere close to its full potential, and or they may keep it as a collector's piece of Harley-Davidson history, because Harley may never do this again. We don't know. They don't talk about it. They're like, we don't know. We're just doing it. It was a one-off. It's really to showcase their abilities to push and drive innovation, performance, and just a testament to their engineers and what they're actually capable of making if they wanted, if it was actually a consumer bike that would sell. Yes, it's $110,000. It wasn't made for us. It was made for a collector's piece, people, and it doesn't take anything away from their regular lineup and manufacturing. You'll hear all the keyboard warriors online. I just shut up. It's not made for you. It never was. It's made for 131 rich people. And it wasn't to put anybody down. It was to say, look what we can do. The nice thing about that is, just like King of the Baggers, a lot of that stuff is trickling down to the actual consumer lineup with their R&D and all their tooling and things like that. So just take it for what it's worth. That was unveiled. Really cool. And again, I did a video on that, but we will be doing a podcast episode talking a little bit more and breaking down why that bike, what makes it so amazing. I honestly, with some of the parts on that bike, I can't believe it's only 110,000. The billet and the custom parts on that thing, it's insanity. Cause that was a lot of it was one-off CNC type stuff, cause they're not going to make an entire assembly line for 131 bikes. So a lot of that stuff, it's crazy. And just the front end, if you guys don't know a front end on a bike like that, without getting into the specs of that front end alone, if you just take the brakes, the wheel, the forks, that's like a $10,000 to $15,000 front end. Like if you've ever priced that shit out. So the reason that bike's like that is because it is a race bike. Street legal race bike is what that is. Yeah. So enough about that. we'll do another video on that. So that was unveiled. We had a dinner. Bam. The next morning, I'm sicker. Here's where we get into the bike review. I've got basically 6 different Cruiser lineup to review in 2 days and swap bikes with influencers as we could. And they're running us and they're gunning us. And we got a lot of downtime because they're getting film shots of us and we're trying to ride them. And then while we're waiting to get film shots, we're like, can I ride your bike? Can I ride your bike? And it's just chaos. And I've had the least amount of time I've ever had to actually get film shots of bikes and have time with them. We were literally on the side of the road. I'm like, pull my camera. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have shots of this bike yet. And trying to get that all for you guys and capture it. And really myself look over these bikes and go, what's new? What's different? So we're going to break this down and understand a full format for you guys. Here's the biggest thing. When you look at these 6 Cruisers for 2025, you may say blah. And a lot of people did that. That's just because people aren't educated, which is what I'm here to do, because I get access to these bikes and I can really say, is it blah or is it not? There is way more within these bikes than meets the eye. There's actually some fairly significant changes that are definitely worth noting. Harley doesn't always do the best job. The big companies don't do a good job at explaining what's different in these bikes and why they're different than the 24s. So that's what we're here for. So just know that there's more than meets the eye as we break these down. So here's one of the biggest things that you should know that I think is very notable. I've been talking a lot. You know this, you go, because I haven't let you talk a lot.
Well,
cover this in good detail.
Do you want to do the motor first or kind of get into
Let's do the
safeties?
Motor.
Okay.
What's the first thing in this article that we wrote? We'll kind of go off this.
Yeah. They are putting the 117 Milwaukee 8 variant in those things. That is a big motor for those Cruisers. Those are fairly light bikes, so that's bringing a lot of power to it. So all the Cruiser lineups getting the Milwaukee 8 117, but there is variations of that 117.
That's what he meant by variant. You said a 117 variant. What Lurch meant is they're putting a 117 in the bikes with 3 different variants.
Yes. So there's different variations depending on the bike, and they've tuned them and have the torque and the horsepower to reflect the style of that bike. So there's 3 different versions, and I'll tell you which bike each has. There's a high output variant, which is coming in the Lowrider S and the Lowrider ST. There is a custom variant, which is in the Fat Boy and the Breakout. And then there's a Classic, which is in the Street Bob and the Heritage Classic. So your high output variant, it's for the hot rod bikes. It's got everything jacked up. The custom is for more of your standard cruising bike, which would be the Fat Boy and the Breakout. So now you're bringing it down just a little bit. And then the Classic is in the Street Bob and the Heritage, making them even calmer. So they really wanted to match the riding style and the characteristics of that motor with the style of the bike.
Yes. And you wonder how they did that? They did it through unique cylinder heads in each motor, throttle bodies and intake manifolds, and of course, tuning. Having ridden them, I'll piggyback off Lurch, is it definitely holds true if you watch my review video. I wasn't sure, like, okay, there's variants. How noticeable will they be? We're going to get into some of the specs in a minute, but I just want to tell you out of the gate, absolutely. You get on the Street Bob or the Heritage with the Classic, you notice it. You jump on a custom, you're like, oh, not as laid back. Definitely more power on the Fat Boy and Breakout with that custom version. Then you jump on, which is kind of the order I did it to a certain extent. It actually is the order I did it. And then the high output, which is the Lowrider S and ST. You're like, oh, yeah. Those motors are significantly different. And not only did they customize the performance of each of those variants, they also customize sound. Each bike sounds completely different because it's tuned different and it has those different mechanical things that I mentioned in there. It is significantly different. As you'll see with torque and horsepower, just a bird's eye overview is your Classic variant is more of a kickback, more of a regular Harley feel that you're used to, low end torque, kind of that mode. And then the custom is somewhere in between where you're getting a little more power, but you still have a little bit of the laid back cruise. And then you get into the high outputs and it's balls to the wall. So it is significant information. Why is that important? Because it tells you can't just go, well, I like the looks of the Lowrider ST best, so that's one I'm going to get. And then you get it and you're like, fuck, that thing runs at high RPMs. And to get in my power band, it's way up there. And I really wanted a more relaxing ride. Well, then you should have picked the Heritage Classic with the classic variant of the Milwaukee 8117. So I hope that makes sense. Like, you can't just go off looks anymore. They used to have a lot of the same motor and you're like, I'm just going to pick the one I like the best. It's not that way anymore. It also is going to depend heavily on what kind of ride you want. Because you're going to, the classic, Heritage Classic, you're going to be kicked back. It's on the cusp of cruiser and it's going to be that feel. And then, you want to run corners and run like a raped ape. Well, then you want to move up to the high output version. So very important information. Again, that's what we're for. That's what media outlets and influencers like us are for, to try to sift through this, because Harley just doesn't explain that. They'll just tell you really quick, there's 3 different variants, but you don't really think like, oh, well, what does that mean? It means heavily. You're spending a lot of money on a Harley. You want to get the one that's not only going to look the greatest for you, but also the one that's going to meet your riding needs and what you're actually going to use it for. So,
and what's cool with this new motor is that you're going to get ride modes now.
Yes.
On all of those 117s.
Yes. Very good. Coming across the board. We didn't have those. We had that with touring,
right?
For quite a few years now. Rain Sport and Road. You're getting standard across the board. Money. Hardy nailed that, putting that on and of course all those modes just adjust power delivery. They are significant in between them, just like on the touring. Rain's going to dial back your power and keep your rear wheel. It's all rear wheel slip management, drag slip, torque control, how aggressive that is, how lean angle it's going to let you do before it, ABS kicks in and things like that. So very good. I'm going to piggyback off that in a second. We got to test those modes in an extreme way, but we need to do this first. Zero 3D has come out with some banger products for the 24 and newer. We've been waiting for them to crack the ECM. They've done it. We have Lurch is going to tell you what they are, but they're all listed in the store right now. The ones that are available, they are not available in stock yet. Remember, in the Law Abiding Biker store, we have, when you go there and a product's out of stock, we've added it to the right side of your screen, mobile or desktop. There's going to be an out of stock box, a little red box. You click it, enter your email or your phone number or both. The instant Lurch puts something back in stock, you'll get an email with a click-through link so you can get it, because even when we get stock of these products, everybody's been waiting for them for 24. I'm putting all of them on my bike, and they're just going to run out really quick, and it's going to be hard for them. They're trying to get manufacturing going, but so when you get that notification, you want it, I would get it ASAP. And if you see anything else on Zero, you can always get a hold of us. We can get anything Zero. It just may not be listed in our store.
Yeah, like you said, new products, man, it takes a little while for them to catch up with the market, because there's going to be a huge demand for them, but we will keep on working on keeping them in the store. What's really cool is they figured out how to hook these LED lights to the 2024 bike. You've got 2 options. You can use the standard connector, which is run, turn, brake, or they have the Light Strike Commander, which Bluetooths to your phone, and then you can do all kinds of crazy patterns and animations and stuff like that. So you got a couple options there. But what they have out right now for both the Road Glide and the Street Glide is a vent light. It's a light that goes up inside your vent. They call it the ghost technology because it's very low key. You don't really notice until it's on. It's white when you run down the road. Does the turn signals left and right. If you've got the Light Strike Commander, then you can do animations. Allegedly, you can do like a Knight Rider kind of theme or something on it, which I know you will be doing.
Totally.
In addition to that, they got what they call the Goatee light. It's a light bar that goes underneath the headlamp on the Batwing on the Street Glide and the Street Glide Ultra, and it replaces the black insert underneath your light. So you give additional light. It's a great look. You can get that in black and chrome. There is also a lighted license plate light. When those bikes first came out, I said, man, there's a lot of opportunity to really clean that back end up and make it look a little more sexy, and Zero did that. They've got the lighted plate that really is much more streamlined and good looking, again, in black or chrome.
Very cool. And you mentioned in the live chat that you had the meat sweats,
Yeah.
and Jason Chapman says, hey, if you didn't do it right.
God.
And I said, actually, it was close to being fully sick. The funny thing is,
Yeah, it was
I ate
almost
just
too
as much as Lurch.
I think I had
and
too
I
much
was
sides.
completely fine.
I think you did pretty much all protein. I got
Maybe.
into that mac and cheese. I got into the beans, the cowboy beans or whatever they were.
Yeah.
I think I should have just. When a lot of people went right by the sides and went straight to the meat, I should have taken note and just go, we're just gonna eat meat tonight. It's a protein dinner.
No doubt, dude.
There's like a little bit left, and you're like, "Come on, man, we can't leave it." I think I'm full. And then
Dude, what we paid for that?
yeah, and you call me a puss.
Don't you waste
I had
money,
to, I had
son.
to eat it. I was not feeling well for a little while. It was worth it though.
It was worth it. It was worth it. I had to back off on barbecue when I got home because I'm like, that's enough barbecue for a little while.
When in Rome.
Yeah, totally. All right. So with those ride modes, day one, they had something really cool set up for us. And what lake is that? I put it in the actual film. Anyways, if Lurch finds it.
Oh, look.
Yeah, if you pull up the video, and it's an overview of the lake, and I actually list what lake that is.
Okay.
But anywho, it's a cool place. And we had a parking lot there, and we ate lunch afterwards. But they really wanted us, in a way, I've never got to test ride modes before. I've tested them on my own. Obviously, I ride hard. I train hard. I'm fairly comfortable, very comfortable on bikes. And to the point where I can, certainly if it's loose, I can drift on my own and stuff like that a bit. But they had it set up. So I will tell you at these events, not every influencer that goes really knows how to ride that well. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying and that's fine. I'm not putting them down. They invite everybody. As long as they have an audience that they want to get in front of, they invite you. What I found is they're not all, some are a little bit more timid with riding. So I appreciate that they had this set up for them to experience some of this thing. And of course I took full advantage of it myself because as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, get ready. Because like I say, I can do a lot of the stuff on my own. I've tested it, but without outriggers, safety bars.
You're at the Oasis Brewing Company.
Oasis Brewing Company.
Which is technically, we've learned this about Texas. If it's a little bit wider than normal, they call it a lake, but it's on the Colorado River. It overlooks Colorado River.
Yeah, and it is a lake name too. If you zoom in, I can't remember, but maybe not. Maybe it was just the Colorado River.
That's all I can find on the. It doesn't say the Gulf of America here, so I just see Colorado River.
If you guys haven't looked at Google Maps lately, they've already changed it. Google Maps and Apple Maps to Gulf of America. Just a little tip there, little note of information, trivia. Anyways, so we get to this parking lot. They've got sand down, and they've got Street Bob. And I'm riding the Street Bob first. By the way, this day I started out testing the Street Bob. We'll talk a little bit about that bike. But they have outriggers on it. And basically, the outriggers are big metal poles. Go watch the video, and it's got huge plastic pucks on both sides. It basically won't let the bike tip over. But they're off the ground, so you can still ride it. And you can lean to a certain level before it hits the puck and secures you. The way you run this bike, you don't use the kickstand. You turn the bars left, it's already on the puck. And to get it going, you'll see on the video, you just throttle out, clutch, and you keep the wheel locked turned, because that stands you up. As soon as you give it gas, it stands you up, and then you can straighten the wheel and go. And when you stop, you literally just push the brake to stop, and you fall over on the puck.
That was funny to watch you guys do that. Come to a stop.
Did you see how I leaned all the way over? They're all like, oh my God. One of the Harley reps goes, you have an actual technique to that, because it's just like motor school.
Yeah.
You know, when we're doing drills, I'll shift my butt way over to the outside of the seat so I can bar lock and I can dip the bike more because I'm sitting up high on it. Well, I was just like, why just fall over with it? I'm going to fall off. So I just prop my butt way over and let it fall. And she's like, oh my God, you have a technique for that.
Of course I do.
Yeah, of course I do.
Jason Chapman in the chat says that is Lake Travis.
See, I knew it had a lake.
Crazy low, glorified river.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We found that in Texas. The river that runs through Texas,
Lake.
Colorado, Lady Bird Lake and stuff. We're like, folks, that is a river. It isn't. We have a different definition of lakes. They're actually standing bodies of water, not fresh flowing. So it's funny that they call those lakes, but whatever. Each to their own. But yes, I remember putting that on my video. It is Lake Travis. That's what I actually put. I knew it had a name. All right. So I think, anyways, so what they wanted us to do and what they wanted us to feel is how good these rider safety modes are. Like I say, you should always train without rider safety modes. you have to understand your bike. You have to understand the feel when it does break loose a little bit. All those things are just going to make you, whether you have ride modes or not, just a way better rider than everybody on the road. I don't like relying on these systems. They're there if you need them. They're there for people that go code black, and even experienced riders, of course, in a real pickle, they can save you. But they wanted to show how good these ride modes are. So having your skill set, now you can test ride modes. And they wanted us to start in rain and then road and then sport. And what you do.
That makes sense. You work your way up.
Yes. And then they wanted us to take traction control all the way off, which I was just waiting for. I'm surprised I didn't just skip all the modes, but I wanted to play along because I was just seeing fun. And so you come around and you're in a full turn and you're supposed to be. You'll see on the videos, a lot of them, the people got the bike straight. And they couldn't understand why it wouldn't slide because they weren't. You have to commit and you have to turn as far as you can, which is what I was doing. And then as I was in a full turn, I'd floor it when I hit the sand. So I had to tell a few people, they're like, they weren't sliding at all, or they weren't fishtailing or drifting. And I'm like, you gotta commit. You got bars on, but not everybody. I've spent thousands of hours on motorcycles training. And so I'm not scared of these things.
And being a police motor officer and an instructor, one, just learning, you're going to dump your bike. And then you guys always push it to the limit. So you know and trust the bike, and if it tips over, you know how to fall. I mean, it's not scary to you. I'm sure a lot of these guys have never dropped a bike
there was fear.
Or been down on a bike. I could see them having. I would, if I didn't have any experience with that. I think I would be apprehensive. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. Put it this way, and I'm not talking bad about any of them down there. When we got there, I felt
you could smell.
They all stopped their normal behavior. They didn't have their cameras out.
Yeah.
They were all like listening to the Harley rep explain this thing. They're all looking at it. Usually they're just all filming. Look at it. We got an outrigger, and none of them, dude. I have proof in point because I was the only one filming when the instructor guy almost went down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he really got
only one other person was filming behind me, and that was Rob.
Yeah.
That's it. Everybody else, they're always filming everything. Nobody. It was like when we went to a qualification day for motors school.
Everybody's serious, got their game face on.
Dude, their whole behavior changed. And the thing is, you think it's got outriggers, but I'm just used to that shit. I'm like, oh, fuck, I have free reign and I can't go down. Fuck this, but it's still. And the one thing is you can break your leg.
Oh, yeah.
They told us like 50 times, and even Paul down there, he's like, what's the golden rule? Never put your foot down, because the outrigger will hang up. So that scared a lot of people. Like, it will break. So, and a lot of people want to put their foot down. So anyways, with that said, you come around the sand, and I knew how to do it. So I was and I was like, oh yeah, game on. What? And
oh yeah, you're leaning off the bike, I saw you leaning off the left side in a left turn, trying to get as much as you can. A lot of guys are sitting straight up on the bike and not really leaning. Like you say, you were in a full turn, full lean, and like hanging off like a crotch rocket racer.
Right. Exactly, dude. And I was actually trying to put it on the puck, but I've done those drills. You've seen me before on dry pavement, like on the night train, where I do a full bar lock turn and spin the rear tire out and drift a little bit. I'm just used to it. So I couldn't even get on the puck because I was correcting myself. The rain mode corrected, obviously, to dial it back in. The rain mode's amazing.
Most retarded,
and
not as in special.
It's not going to let you slide out.
Isn't not letting it rev up and do all those things and get out of line. Yeah.
Not let you drift.
Right.
Very little. You just felt it go a little bit, and it's just going to bog that bike and not let you go down. Rain mode, a little bit more sport mode. It lets you slide a little bit more. Amazing modes. They will save thousands and thousands of riders in slick roads or sand or whatever.
Where's that farting dog at?
I don't know. But so those modes will definitely save a lot of bikers. They are amazing in every way, and I'm so glad they come to touring bikes. And then you can turn traction control off, which I always appreciate when manufacturers allow me to turn these systems off, because I don't want them a lot of times. I know a lot of people do. I like to feel my bike, especially when I'm riding aggressively. I don't necessarily, if I can dial back, drag, slip, torque control, and track, I'm okay going into corner. I want to feel my bike slide. It lets me know where I am in the range of everything. It's a very comfortable feel for me, so I can just settle in and things like that if I'm shifting aggressively. Not everybody's like that. I get it. I do appreciate you can turn it off for those moments. And So then you go around, and then the bike's in full mode where it will not dial back the rear tire and it will fully let you drift, which is what I did a bit. I got off, and I think on the video I was interviewing Rob, and he's like, the only bad thing is, he goes, now I went second, and he's like, now you set the standard
pretty high
for pretty high for everybody trying to, I don't think anybody's going to get that sideways. You really now we're all fearful. You
and
set
especially
the standard
for you too, because he's a retired motors guy. So now you've really set the expectation is he'll do it too now, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Exactly. But anyways, everybody got through it. There was a lot of, like I said, a lot of people just kind of stood up straight, and I get it, because that's what your mind. Nobody wants to roll the throttle in a full turn because it doesn't seem natural. That's what Rob said. It just doesn't seem natural, but I had a ball with it, and did my turns, and it really showcased the rider mode. So nailed it, Harley. Great engineering. If you think about the split seconds that those things have to be making decisions in order to stop it before you do go down. And then if you think about the lean technology and locking up ABS in a corner, and that IMU is standing you up and leaning, that kind of stuff. It's
not high side,
not high siding you.
Cool technology.
It is.
Or just right in the rain, you can get into a rut full of water, and you can start hydroplaning, and you've experienced this where you had to fight it.
Yes.
You could imagine if you had rain mode on that bike.
Well, I wouldn't have been in rain mode, but
in that deep rain.
I think no.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not. I probably would have been road.
Okay. Well, nonetheless, assuming you were in rain mode,
the only reason I wouldn't be in road is sometimes I need power to get out of things, and that's a little too far for me. For most riders, use rain mode, but at least road mode, for sure. And the traction control, right? I didn't have traction control.
No.
That would have solved that a lot too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that would have started sensing probably and dialed things back on its own, just the traction control. So on my 14, when I hydroplaned, that was scary shit right there at like 60. Anyways, they definitely would have helped with that. Mm-hmm. So let's go through these bikes, Lurch. And so the Street Bob 114, a lightweight, agile cruiser, guys. That's what I'll say with that. I enjoyed it. Who's it for? It's ideal for a shorter rider. At 5'8", I found the ergonomics to be comfortable with mid controls and well-positioned handlebars. But that's a day bike, guys, especially for somebody, unless you're 20, and I'm not 20. Those mid controls sit really high. They're supposed to. It's not a bad on the bike. It just is what it is. But it's so light and it's so fast. I felt like I was getting on a BMX bike. I think I say that in my video. It's so funny. After riding big bikes, I'm like, dude, I can ride this like a BMX bike with a 114 in it, not pedals.
117.
Or seriously, 117. Crazy. The Street Bob 114 with the 117. So it's a day bike for a young man. Fun. Be fun in the corners. Doesn't have feelers on the pegs, so you just get right into the rubber. I did that a few times. I wish they'd have feelers on that so you can, little metal feelers to save those and so you can feel it. But analog speedometer with digital readout up on the handlebars. Of course, your essential ride data is up there, including RPMs, fuel range, and tire pressure monitoring, which all these bikes got. TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system. We didn't mention that. That's huge. And you can switch around, make it read what you want. Torque and power, it's the classic variant like we talked about, guys. It's going to be the most calm, but it's a 117 and a BMX bike. So take that with a grain of salt. Just going to be lower RPM range for your power band, your horsepower, your torque. Milwaukee 8170, 98 horsepower, 120 foot-pounds of torque, making it punchy yet easy to handle and ride is how I described it in my article. If you guys didn't know all the videos, we also do very detailed articles if you like to read instead over on the Law Abiding Biker website. And the video's at the bottom if you want to follow it up with the video. But let's move on to the jump in anytime you want, Lurch, but I'm just trying to keep the things rolling.
Well,
So,
you review these, so you have the most,
yes.
But I'll impart some stuff here and
Perfect. Breakout 117, a bold and stylish power cruiser is how I describe that. So this is a fat rear tire bike. While it adds to the aggressive look, guys, it does make handling a bit heavier, especially in corners. I did a full review on this bike when we went to the 120th Harley anniversary in Milwaukee several years ago. That's the bike I rode around all over Milwaukee. I did a proper video on it. Lurch will put it in the show notes, and you can go view it on YouTube at any time. Just understand this motor that was the 114 back then, now it's the 117. But other than that, the bike hasn't changed. So It's going to have these new features, new variant. Fat rear tire. It does make handling a bit heavier if you've never ridden a fat tire bike. It's just after you get off something like a 114 Street Bob 114. Why are we calling the Street Bob 114?
It's a 117. It's just a typo in the
okay. So why do I keep, I keep doing that. We got to do that in the article. Fix that.
I'll do it right now.
Thank you. Oh, don't you don't have to do it right now, but
I'll forget if I don't.
Okay. Well, you might not, hopefully you have something to jump in on, but
I do.
If you've never ridden a fat tire bike, it's just after you get off a Street Bob 117, it's just going to feel heavy.
It's more tire to move over.
Yes.
You got to lean it, work harder to lean it. It wants to go in a straight line.
Yes. So you're going to work harder. It's going to feel heavier. It's going to be a bit more fatigue, but totally cool bike, totally rideable. Forward controls, it doesn't have floorboards. So you do definitely in a breakout, you're going to feel vibrations. You're going to feel everything in that motor, in the handlebars, the seat. That's what it's made. It's a more stripped down, chopper look, if you will. So 104, it's got the custom variant. So we're moving up. 104 horsepower, 126 foot-pounds of torque with a more rev happy power band, I should say. Single front brake setup. So doesn't have dual front. So a bit less stopping power, but again, it's the stripped down chopper type look, if you will. And
it's the one I like. If I was going to get a soft tail, that would be the one. I loved my Dyna. The reason I liked my Dyna was it felt, as a tall rider, that I had more room on it. I like the Bob fender look. The breakout for me is a new version of that classic long stretched out, chopper Harley kind of deal. So for me, I would love that with some ape hangers on it. I think it'd be a fun bike to rip around town.
Absolutely. We screwed up the Fat Boy too in the article. You reviewed this too. What the hell, dude?
Well, it's pretty easy to miss that.
Yeah, I'm just teasing you, but we do review our articles, but apparently we screwed up.
Yeah, sometimes. I'm in it right now. I'll fix it.
Okay. So moving on to the Fat Boy 114, classic comfort and power, guys. The Fat Boy, everybody knows it, been around for a long time. It's a classic. It's definitely more comfortable than the Breakout. They're similar bikes, honestly. But the Fat Boy is the more comfortable one for a couple reasons. And I'm 5'8". Remember, I'm an average size rider. Oh, I do want to say on the Breakout for a 5'8" rider, that's the one bike, the least favorite stock ergonomics for somebody my size. It's almost like it was the only bike that wasn't made for 5'8". Reason I say that is you got the bars out there. It puts you in a forward position, and the seat, where it uprises for back support, it's a little bit too far back. And so you constantly, somebody my size, I'm pulling up on the bars and I have to lean forward to have a little bend in my arms because you don't want to be locked out. And so I have a really unnatural curve in my lower back. I just don't enjoy the ergonomics of the Breakout at all for a guy my size. Those can all be corrected in aftermarket. We do that all the time. But it seems all the other bikes, including the Fat Boy, is made for a guy my size. So 5'8", the handlebar placement is much better than the Breakout. They're not the same drag type bars. They pull back a little bit. It's a much more comfortable cruising position, more relaxed posture. Floorboards instead of pegs, that's huge. If you're going to go longer distance on the Fat Boy, and better for cruising, better for long distance. Lean angle considerations, guys. One thing I found is both these bikes, the Breakout and the Fat Boy, you're looking at 25.6 degrees of lean angle. That's all. What limits aggressive cornering, but suits the bike's cruising nature. I drug like every corner. Like they're not a lot of lean angle. Comparatively, something like a Street or Road Glide has 32 degrees. So 7 degrees less lean angle. And you don't even realize, you're like, how in the hell did I just drag? But I'm also an aggressive corner. I'm not afraid to lean the bike. But if you're just tooling around, or you're doing a lot more straight riding, or you're not a really aggressive corner, it's going to be fine. But for me, I was like, oh my God, how do people ride this bike in corners? Because it's really easy to get into it. But again, a lot of riders, it would suit fine. So don't let me steer you away from that. It's a great bike, fun to ride, plenty of power. Again, the Fat Boy shares that classic variant of the 117. A little bit higher rev, a little bit higher torques and horsepower and all that kind of stuff, and a bit more powerful. So moving into the Lowrider ST and the Lowrider S, which I rode on the second day, high output variant. 114 horsepower at 128 foot-pounds of torque, delivering a more aggressive ride. We've already discussed this. This is your running like a raped ape motor, and it does. And you know when you get on it, it will throw you back. They are crazy powerful. Inverted front forks. The only bikes coming with inverted front forks stock out of the Cruiser lineup are the Lowrider ST and the Lowrider S. If you don't know, just inverted forks are so superior to conventional. There's a lot of reasons for that. I didn't put I've explained it on the video more and in past episodes, but just much more performance oriented. You'll know not everybody will get the benefits of them unless you do go ride really hard and you brake hard on your front, especially when you're going into corners, or maybe you're doing some trail braking, or you're doing that front end dive before a corner and then doing some trail braking and letting off. So controlled, and you'll feel it. A lot of riders, if you don't and you're just a casual rider, you'll probably never know the benefits. But for performance, which these are performance bikes, I appreciate that Harley's putting that on there. I will say, with that said, my one nitpick at Harley is performance bike, performance motor, performance forks, but we stuck with axial mounted front brakes. That needs to change, in my opinion. Absolutely should have been radial mounted. Again, I've explained why in the past, why radial mounted are superior to axial mounted. A lot of people wouldn't notice them, but those that ride harder or are really familiar with bikes will immediately notice the benefits. Multiple different benefits, both in stopping, control, feel. Everything about radial mounted is better. They are performance. That's why race bikes use them, and that's why race bikes are inverted front forks too, for a reason. They're not using conventional stuff. So my one nitpick, absolutely, let's get that upgraded Harley for 2026. And that's the only thing like they missed on that performance bike is just axial mounted. Okay, weird. Just my opinion on that. The Lowrider S versus the ST versus the S guys. The ST, of course, has the club style fairing, fixed fairing, and saddlebags for light touring. They are clamshell design. The one cool thing is the complaint when the ST came out, when I reviewed it in Santa Barbara multiple years ago when they released it, it had stacked exhaust on the right side. One of the saddlebags was shorter than the other, and a lot of people didn't like those aesthetics. So now it's single exhaust, 2-into-1, and the saddlebags are symmetrical now. So yes.
That's good.
Yeah, very good.
That bothered me. My OCD couldn't handle looking at the back of that bike and seeing the two different size bags.
I didn't like it either.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have stopped me from buying it, but I always would have been an eyesore for me.
It's a good change.
So nailed that. And then the S, of course, a more stripped down performance variant. It doesn't have a fairing as just a little quarter fairing, and it doesn't have bags. You can set it up with them, but it doesn't have them out of the box. A lot of guys ask, now a lot of guys have older STs. Well, they made the bags. What if I get 2-into-1 exhaust? Can I get the bag? Well, the answer is, if you look in the P&A catalog, you will not, because Harley doesn't do things that way. They're not going to retrofit that. But what you'll know is you just won't find a part number for it for your year. So when you look up fitment, it's going to say it doesn't fit your bike, but it will. I found that out from the dealership.
Good.
So
that was one of the questions I had.
Yeah. So just know you'll have to order it. Get into 2-into-1 exhaust, make sure it's low enough exhaust, first of all, like the stock, and then it will fit the same. You'll just have to order it for a 2024 Street Glide ST or a Lowrider ST, and it will fit. So yes, there you go. I got the answer to that question.
Good.
Ergonomic 5.8. I found the bars. They're just comfortable bikes, both of them. For a mid-control bike, they're definitely better mid-controls than like the Street Bob. People think all mid-controls are created equal. They're not. The Street Bob, your legs are way up and your knees are way up. At least these are lower. For mid-controls, they're a lot more comfortable. But here's what I say. This is a sport touring bike. If we're talking about the Lowrider ST, sport touring. So when you're talking about a sport touring, the word touring's in there. So what I'll say, I'm not 20. And even if you're 30, here's the deal. If you're going to day ride this bike, mid controls, I would keep them. They're more aggressive. I like them. They're definitely more performant. That's why King of the Baggers doesn't have floorboards. They have mid controls. It's a much more aggressive riding position. You're going to be able to control the bike better, especially if you're riding aggressive corners. Keep them. But a decision you're going to have to make is you don't want to get into a full Street Glide or Road Glide, and you want this guy. and you're like, well, I can still tour on it. Well, you're right. You can get a Saddleman from the Law Abiding Biker Store seat. You're going to need that. Number one. Number two, you're going to want to put forward controls on it for long distance day after day touring, unless you're 20. It's mid controls. Your knees are going to lock up. It's not as comfortable position for long distance touring. So there's a decision that you have to make in there. But I like that about this bike because it can be for either rider. So try it. Go on a trip for 2 days, 3 days, and say you'll learn quick whether you're going to need forward controls based on your body and your posture, especially somebody like Lurch. Ain't no way he's riding with those mid controls, guys, at 6'4". So not going to happen. So just be aware.
Absolutely not.
It is made for a 5'8", great day bike. Could be adapted to long distance touring, and they do make a stereo. We're going to put one in eventually on the channel to drop in. It's from Harley, and I got to test it in Santa Barbara several years ago when I reviewed that bike, but it sounds good and connects to your phone. But the bikes we had down here did not have that add-on, but be aware it is available. All right. Some cool colors coming out. Check the colors out on all that. A lot of different colors that are really good looking on all the aforementioned bikes. So let's move to the Heritage Classic. Well, in fact, we'll move to the Heritage Classic, and then we've got some final thoughts, and we'll kind of see about taking it out of here. I'll look at some comments while you're doing this.
Or ride longer and treat your ass with some respect already.
Oh, my ass needs respect right now.
Get hooked up with a premium butt buffer seat cushion. This company of bikers developed a super thin hospital grade seat cushion made of solid and elastic materials, and it's unlike gel pads that'll leak if punctured. The butt buffer is designed not to slide around your seat, fits all motorcycles, installs in seconds, and easily cleans. And yep, it helps dampen those damn vibrations. With plenty of miles to choose from, they assure you'll have a comfortable ass when riding. Head on over to the Law Abiding Biker Store and check out our full line of butt buffer seat products.
Yeah, okay. Moving on to the Heritage Classic. I always say the Heritage Classic is an underrated touring bike. Okay, the Heritage Classic, it's going to have the custom or the classic variant of the motor. Out of all these bikes, it's the most comfortable because, to me, it's right on the cusp of being a grand touring. There's some reasons for that. It's always amazing to me that it made the Cruiser lineup, which is fine. It's right borderline.
It's kind of in between, isn't it?
It really is. It really is a full touring bike minus the whole integrated digital dash and infotainment system. It's really a Swiss Army of bikes. So classic styling. Just look at it, guys. It just screams Harley-Davidson. It's a beautiful bike. Has the most comfortable seat out of all of them. It's got kind of more of that tractor. It's not a tractor seat, more of a saddle. Thank you. Wide. I got on that thing. I was like, it's funny because people down there, other tall influencers that were down there with me.
Yeah.
By day 2, the end, they were all like, no, I've tested all the bikes. Do you want to switch? They were trying to switch. I was trying to do it too with people with the Heritage Classic because we're tired of riding the mid-control bikes, dude. It was funny. People were like, no, I don't need to switch. You're good. I'll just stay on the Heritage Classic. And people were like trying to get the Heritage Classic because we needed to film it. And guys I get why they were trying to stay on it, but everybody's really cool. They're like, no, if you really need it, you can have it for a while, but I really want to ride this bike the rest of the day. Speaking of the non-20 guys. So most comfortable seat, floorboards, huge, traditional Harley, leather saddlebags, detachable windshield. That's the Swiss Army. Is strip it down, easily take that windshield off, easily remove those saddlebags. You got a day bike, throw them on. You got a touring bike. Again, you could tour as far as we ride on this bike. You just wouldn't have a whole infotainment system and all that kind of stuff. You could still get heated grips for it. You're not going to have the hand wind protection. The windshield doesn't do that. So the fairing offers higher levels of protection, but that's why it's somewhere just below a Grand American Touring is why I think they put it in the Cruiser model. But laid back, traditional Harley feel, traditional classic Harley motor, lower torque right there when you need it. Kick back, put the cruise control on. All these bikes, by the way, didn't mention, all touring coming with cruise control now. So that's huge.
All the cruisers?
All cruisers coming with cruise control. All of them had it. So that's really cool. Really. Now you guys know what I mean up front. Like that's some substantial things that a lot of people didn't know. they made a lot of changes to these bikes.
It's much more than just a larger motor in it.
Correct. Yeah. Yes, much more. Rider modes, ride modes, safety, rider safety features, cruise control. I mean, there just really is a lot to these bikes. Safety and rider aids, we didn't talk about a lot, but we're going to talk about. We talked about traction control and ride modes, but of course we talked briefly about this, but we'll go over it. Advanced rider safety enhancements. All 25 Harley-Davidson Cruisers come with modern riding safety aids, just like we saw in the Touring, cornering and straight line ABS and traction control, ABS, drag, torque, slip control, all on there now. That within itself, guys, you're basically now, what Harley's done is they've made the touring bikes exactly the same with all the same features. You don't have vehicle hold control. That's one thing they left off on the Cruiser lineup. You have that on the touring, but they are heavier. It makes more sense. But that's one of the only features that didn't make it. So basically, you've got all the features on the Cruisers as you have on the touring now, aside from a fully fairing and protection saddlebags, minus the ST, and a fully integrated digital dash infotainment system engages. If you look at it that way, smaller tanks, of course, they're Cruisers. They're in the Cruiser lineup for a reason. I can't believe they trickled that much down into the Cruiser lineup. That's pretty substantial for 2025, comparatively up to some other manufacturers. That's some good stuff. Yeah, cruise control, I guess I did say it, but we did get to it. And I do want to say they refined the switch housings, completely new switch housings, which mimic, in my opinion, very much the touring models. They're not exactly the same, but damn near.
Which makes sense. You have the 117, you got all the, the rider aids, you got all the traction control. You're going to need those switches to do that. So I could see how it looks very much like the touring models, minus probably all the infotainment stuff, right?
Yep. Right, exactly.
And I will say, David Schwartz, patron member in the chat here, says, I ride a 2018 Heritage here in Israel. This is my only bike. I love touring with it.
Yeah, I'm saying nice. That is a great bike. Great bike, David. No doubt about it. I really think it's under-reviewed and underrated, so I tried to spend some time on it in the video and telling people that. Obviously, I already said, I wish one of my dogs and constructive, tasteful feedback, radial mounted brakes on all these bikes. At least the Lowrider S and ST, their performance, they should have. I can get the others. That's fine, axial, but these performance ones should have radial. Also, I've went over it many times in the past. Indian's doing the same thing. These are premium bikes for a premium price. They should have a premium clutch system. And a premium clutch system is a hydraulic system. Many other manufacturers are running hydraulic for that reason. It's a better system. It's a more robust system. Clutch pull is always the same throughout the life of the clutch. No adjustments needed throughout the life of the clutch. No chance of your cable breaking. No plastic housings in line. No set it and forget it until the clutch plates wear and get a new clutch plates and you're done. Throw one of our beloved PSR adjustable levers available in the Law Abiding Biker store, and you've got all the adjustment you need. There is no argument anymore. I can ride police courses as fast with a hydraulic clutch as I can with a cable. If anybody says the cable clutch, well, it's better and for this and that, they just haven't trained enough with the hydraulic clutch. And I'm sorry to say that because we switched easily from cable. It just takes a little practice. You should be able to jump on either bike, a hydraulic or a cable, and be able to do full bar lock turns and cone patterns. I don't care. I could jump on a cable and then jump and back and forth. That's just a training issue. That's not a cable clutch versus hydraulic issue. So it is what it is, but I'd like to see both companies on these premium bikes put a premium hydraulic system. Again, other manufacturers are because they know it's premium. And Harley did do it for a while and it was great. And they decided not to anymore. So that's one of my nitpicks. Again, Indian's doing the same thing. My same feedback to them when I tested their bikes down in Vegas, that we can upgrade to that. Okay, so final thoughts. And I appreciate everybody being here live. Let's just break it down. Which 2025 Harley Cruiser is right for you? So best for performance riders, the Lowrider ST and the Lowrider S, of course. If you prioritize aggressive handling, Power and sporty ergonomics, these models are for you. Best for classic cruiser fans with a windshield is, of course, the Heritage Classic. If comfort, traditional styling, and versatile ride are your priorities, this is an excellent choice. Best for aggressive styling and chopper look, well, of course, the Breakout 117. If you want bold styling with that fat rear tire, and by the way, I didn't mention, but the Fat Boy also has the same fat rear tire. So as far as cornering and handling, it's very heavy feel too, not nimble like those other bikes, but definitely the Breakout 117, fat rear tire and strong acceleration, and it's fast. Great low end torque. The Breakout is definitely a head turner. It's got that chopper look, especially if like Lurch gets one and we trick it out, you can make it look really badass. Best entry level cruiser by far, the Street Bob 117, which needs to be changed too. Lightweight, easy handling bike with great ergonomics for shorter rides. And when I mean great ergonomics for shorter rides, you heard me, because definitely your knees sit up, but you want to ride a BMX bike, you're basically sitting on a fucking motor on that thing. That's not that heavy. And so, fun factor, you feel like a child. I think I said that I feel younger. It literally made me feel younger riding that thing. And I was smiling the whole time. They got some great colors. It's got the rubber boots on it, that MX look, up front. It's just a cool little bike. And you can get in it pretty reasonable for what you're getting. Cruise control on a street, cruise control ride modes, safety features. I mean, crazy. Yeah. Best for all day comfort without a windshield. I think I changed my mind on this because I have the wrong one. That's the Fat Boy is comfortable. I think it's between a Fat Boy and a Heritage. The Heritage just doesn't have the fat rear tire, but other than that, and you get the windshield on. So somewhere in there between that all day comfort, if you're looking for all day comfort, either the Heritage Classic or the Fat Boy. Either of those is going to do you. Well, the Fat Boy is a great bike. You can get a windshield for the Fat Boy too, and saddlebag. So they're really one and the same. It's just, do you want that really fat rear tire? Or do you want a more nimble tire? Definitely the Heritage Classic is going to be a bit more nimble because it has a standard, more cruiser style tire with that. Okay. It's a lot of information, that we covered here. Lurch, do you have anything, for the good of the order?
I do not.
Okay. With that said, guys, no, that's all right. Versus 5-0 the first weekend. I'm just looking at the chat.
Oh, that's the unsanctioned Texas event.
Oh,
it's going to be the first weekend in October.
So you did have something to say. See, I didn't see that. Good. So get over in the private Facebook group. That's where all that stuff's going on the net. These guys and gals over there are organizing rides. Of course, we're going to be in Canada for the sanction ride, but they're doing all kinds of group rides and meetup events all over. The only way to be involved in those is to be in the private Facebook group and communicate with those folks that are organizing that. That is the way to do that. We appreciate our sponsors and all that, but we want to get you benefits. We want to get to know you better. We want you in the private Facebook group, but hey, if you're like, I don't want all those benefits, I just want to leave a flat donation because I appreciate you guys. We never bought but a flat donation. We want to thank the following people that left those flat donations.
We mentioned this gentleman earlier in the podcast about Wilbur Suspension.
Oh, yeah,
Mike Selberg of Yakima, Washington.
Right
on top
here.
of buying that premium suspension, he also throws a donation. Appreciate that, Mike.
He left a tip in the store?
Did.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's not cheap suspension. That's a pretty premium suspension. And on top of that, to leave a tip is awesome. Thank you, Mike.
Unbelievable.
Kawaka Manaba of Dublin, California. And Jeremy Corball of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
lawabidingbiker.com/donate. That's /donate. And you can also head over to the homepage of the Law Abiding Biker main website, not the store website, but the main website, lawabidingbiker.com. There's a donate button, and you can hit that. And we appreciate it. It helps put a little fuel in the Law Abiding Biker gas tank.
So we can keep this thing running on down the road.
Because we are trying to keep it running on down the road with as busy as we are. But with your guys' support and ramping up Patron members, we really want to ramp that up in 2025. There's no better time. It's all dialed in. It's just a simple monthly subscription. I will tell you this. It's something we don't say a lot. I put out stuff, articles on the website, videos on YouTube, shorts, Instagram posts, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, Facebook posts. You guys get it. There's one place where everything that I post anywhere online gets put. and that is in the back end of your Patron accounts. Every article I do, every video, every short, it all gets put with direct links and information so you can scroll through your Patron feed no matter what I put out. For the most part, 99% of it. Once in a while, I'll do a photo, a quick picture of, hey, I'm, snowboarding, or I won't do that kind of stuff. But anything motorcycle that's important, it's one place to find it. It's an app on your smartphone, Android or iOS. That monthly subscription gets you that benefit too, where you can go to one place and go, oh, he did a YouTube video, bam, and that'll take you out to the YouTube video so you can watch it. So you don't have to go searching around and stay up to date, every couple days. I say every day. First thing you should do when you wake up, scroll through the Law Abiding Biker Patron media feed and see what we've done. But it'll take you out to Instagram. It'll take you to the article. It'll take you to a store item. There's links if we're promoting products. It's just you get it. It's your one-stop shop for everything Law Abiding Biker Media does right there again. You can also do it on your computer, but the app's the easiest on your phone. Scroll through, and don't forget to also, your second stop every morning after you do that is to go over to the private Patron member-only Facebook group, see what's chopping, see what's hopping, see what rides are going on. We also post, everything over there too. But yeah, take advantage of that Patron account. Thanks for being here. Peace.